Welcome to day 218 of our DESO journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother, Brian. And again, we have a special guest today. His name is Yazin. You know him on DESO. He's also the creator of ChimeIn, which is a really cool app that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. How's it going, Yazin?
I'm well. How are you guys? Thanks for letting me join today.
We're good. And we'll get to the news and then we're going to get to you and ChimeIn in just 1 minute. So again, these videos are sponsored by CloudFeed. Do you use CloudFeed, Yazin?
Every day.
Every day. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was a good answer. Even if you didn't answer
even if you don't use it, that was a good answer. So yesterday, Zordan had an announcement and he made major updates to DiamondApp. And some of these updates are updates that the community has been asking for since the days of BitClout. So NFT burns and transfers are now available on DiamondApp, which I think is very welcome. You know, like you can do it directly from DiamondApp. You don't have to go to the NFT nodes, or you don't have to go to another node to do it. There's also autofill for at mentions. So when you type in at, like say I'm writing a message, making a post, and I want to mention Yazin, I can type at Y, and he'd probably be like one of the first ones to come up. Probably the second. I think Yaz might be first, but you'd be second. You'd be close to the top. And I think it's good for that, and it's also good for when you're searching users. You can more easily find users when you want to tag them. It's a pain in the neck when you're writing a message and you're not exactly sure how to spell a username. So, I mean, I think that's useful. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, like personally, I love that feature because I was using bitclout.com a lot more because I have the Chrome extension that Paul Burke wrote for BitClout Plus, which did the same thing. So now that they have it on DiamondApp, I'm probably going to be using DiamondApp almost 100% now.
Yeah.
And just a couple of thoughts on that for me. I'm a UX designer, product designer, so I can nerd out about tiny details and an interface and like tiny features like that. And I didn't realize, like, it's so easy to take for granted how much time and thought and energy a small feature like that saves when you don't have it. Like for the last, I don't know, few months, I've been using BitClout. When I have to tag someone, I usually have to pull up 2 browsers to make sure I'm spelling someone's handle right. And yeah, didn't realize how
on mobile it's even more difficult because you can't have them side by side.
Yeah, definitely. So that's an exciting feature. Small, but goes a long way.
And that's a really good point, the whole mobile thing. Like you couldn't do that on mobile. So also filters for notifications are here. And that's something, you know, we've seen on other nodes. We've seen it on Tyne's node. I think we've seen it on a couple nodes. I'm not sure.
CloudFeed, right?
CloudFeed. What CloudFeed has it? Yeah. So we now have it on DiamondApp where you can filter notifications by NFTs, by diamonds, by hearts. So you might not care about people liking your post. You might not care about people diamonding your post, but maybe you care about people who are reclouding your post. So you can just sort all the reclouds and see who's been reclouding your post. I think it's another good feature.
And Ed really means repost because it's not called recloud anymore.
Yeah, sure. So the final thing from Zordan was you can now dismiss the free money banner that was appearing. You can now get rid of it if you want, you know, so you don't see it all the time. But all in all, I think the changes, the updates are good updates, and I think it makes DiamondApp a lot more useful. What do you think, Yazin?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, like I said, small features that make a really big difference that I've always taken for granted until they're fixed. So I'm happy about them.
Yeah, and so in other news, Natter yesterday made a very interesting post that read, "We're heading into some big listings soon, which will get us a lot more attention." And by listings, he means exchange listings. And by exchange listings, I assume he means Coinbase. But with Coinbase, maybe we'll see Gemini, maybe we'll see some other major exchanges.
I'm guessing we're going to see more than one, and we might see a couple before Coinbase too. Obviously, that's big. The message wasn't just about exchanges. It was more about the referral program and stuff like that. But he mentioned it, and I think it's good that he mentioned it because the timeline for Coinbase just keeps getting pushed forward and forward. I know a lot of people expected it September 1st. Then people were saying maybe in October or November. I'm guessing it will probably be at the end of the year, or maybe beginning of next year. But it's important, obviously, for all the obvious reasons.
Yeah, so the
I'm not
final, go ahead, Yazin. What do you have to say?
I'm not mad about the Coinbase listing or any listings being pushed, because I think, I mean, even the stuff you just discussed today, I think like ironing out these kinks, it makes a big difference for first impression. And like, you know, we've gone through or we've seen a few iterations of the onboarding and the tutorial, and I think there's still a lot being figured out by the community as users, as creators, and as builders. And I think there's, I mean, it was originally planned to launch on a big listing in like September. I mean, think about how far
Right.
the platform has come since then. Like, I actually feel a lot more confident, like onboarding even my friends and family now with all the changes that have been made since.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I agree 100%. You know, I think
as a user interface guy, I'm sure you understand the importance of users coming onto a platform that they want to stick around and that they understand. And I think before we have this boatload of people coming from Coinbase who really understand crypto, you want to make sure everything's refined. So yeah, I totally agree.
Well, digital design is like paint or like painting, but the paint never dries. And I don't know if they have like a dedicated product person on the core team, or I'm sure they had some more like design resources for the Diamond app, but it's iterative. Like every day is a small incremental change to making it a better user experience, whether it's like a dedicated product designer or not. And so I'm sure that like with every day that goes by, it just gets a little bit better. So I think in the long term, it will be good for the platform for like these small changes to be made, even though we've had to wait a little bit longer because it's exciting news when it's listed on any exchange. You know, it gives it validity. It allows the onboarding and offboarding to be a lot simpler, and you know, making it stickier is just gonna everyone wins in the long run.
Yeah, you know, like I think you need more of a final product. We're never gonna have a final product. It's always, you know, DeSo is always gonna be evolving, but having a more smooth user interface, having a more smooth onboarding process, and a better referral program that works and can't easily be cheated. I think that's a solution. Before we can get into Coinbase, you need to have those things solved. And I think we're close to that. I think we're really close to that. And I think it's better for DeSo, the coin price, at least in general, when you have a product to show the Coinbase investors, people who are on Coinbase looking to invest in new cryptos. I mean, there's plenty of cryptos that people invest in before there's even a product out there. You know, people invest in cryptos based on speculation, but DeSo actually has a product, and it's gonna, by the time it's listed on Coinbase, I feel like it's gonna be a really strong, really useful product that I can't see how it won't entice investors to invest into the DeSo coin. But we'll see. You know, things change, and we'll see how it all goes. But finally, before we get into ChimeIn and what you're doing, Yazin, Paul Burke is currently working on an app called DiamondDuster, which allows you to mass sell large amounts of different creator coins that you hold small amounts of. So, you know, if you check out your wallet, you probably own like 1 penny to 10 cents of, you know, maybe hundreds of different creator coins based on diamonds you received, or, you know, small purchases you've made. And this app allows you to mass sell those small amounts so that you can recoup some.
I think that our account has literally over like 3,500 different creator coins back from those early months when you received their creator coin for the diamonds instead of DeSo. So like, it would literally take us probably like 3 weeks to go through and sell every single one. And we're never going to do that, but it would be nice. I mean, I guess that 75% of these people aren't even active on the platform anymore. So it's kind of useless holding their coin. It would be nice to be able to kind of get rid of some of them without having to spend that time. So way to go, Paul Burke. I'm looking forward to seeing this come to fruition.
Yeah, Paul Burke doesn't miss. I mean, this is a great
awesome
idea. It solves like, again, like a tiny problem that it's like, I think it's going to be a big relief for you guys. I actually don't know if somebody who has lots of tiny amounts of coins or tokens, I wonder what the incentive is to sell it all off or like clean up the cat table. So I'm curious to see how that works. But I mean, Paul Burke has been fantastic since day one of DESO and BitClout. And you know, some people buy a painting because, or a piece of art because it adds value to them, and other people buy art because of the artists themselves. I'm going to use whatever Paul Burke makes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into what you're doing, Yaz. And you've been working on ChimeIn, and Brian and I have used it on several occasions. I mean, it's been around for months now, right?
Yeah, it's been around for months. It's available for everyone to use. It's free. But at a high level, what ChimeIn is the simplest, easiest to use metaverse. And that was the goal from the start. What gave me the idea for ChimeIn was seeing a bunch of different sub communities within BitClout. You know, even though BitClout is really, or has been, a really small community and super niche, there was still like different groups of people meeting on Discords and on Clubhouse and different Zoom calls. And I wanted a way to consolidate these communities and have us meet with our BitClout profiles. Because I know some people have like pseudonymous profiles, and others are, you know, the coin price, your followers, or your bio, or however you express yourself on DESO. I wanted a place where we could show up with our DESO identities. So that was the inception. And then the core principle has been creating a social application on the DESO blockchain that created genuine social interaction. So one that was allowing us to come together to genuine, because you know, we've met in person a couple times, we've interacted on several occasions on the platform, on ChimeIn, etc. And like, there's a very big difference between genuinely connecting with someone or just the passing by like or diamond or quick comment on DESO. So ChimeIn, I really, it's been a core driving principle to make sure that it's a place where people can genuinely connect, and also be a metaverse that is super simple to use, that you know, my grandma or my dad can pick up just on the first use. It's just a point and click that you teleport in and out of rooms and buildings, and it's the most basic form of communicating, which is voice. And all those things have been really important, I think, come together really nicely in ChimeIn.
Yeah, I like explaining it as kind of like a Clubhouse built on the DESO blockchain, but it's really so much more than that when you really get into it, and especially with the new features that you just added that allow NFT artists to display their NFTs in the room as you're talking to each other.
Yeah, and that's another observation that I've made in the DESO community of something that I thought I could help with, was just observing how people have been using Clubhouse. A lot of the time, it's for regular meetups and chats and just talking about news, but there's also quite a few people that are doing NFT drops. And the ones that I've attended in Clubhouse, it's you're directing and navigating people to DESO or to BitClout or to DiamondApp, putting a link in your bio, and it's kind of rigid how to drive people towards the NFT. It's a lot easier when you know who the artist is and you're already following them. But building an experience like that that's native to DESO, where you can be in like a Clubhouse room, display your NFT, and click on the NFT and go straight to the bid or to the auction, where you can participate actively, either as a bidder or as somebody who wants to watch it, or like it or interact with it. That was the goal. And so it's become, how can I bring the community together for genuine social connection? And then also, how do I solve some of the more nuanced problems on the platform, like how to do a more successful NFT drop or a more engaging NFT drop?
Yeah, I know we've spoken to you countless times about like the future of ChimeIn, and I know you applied for the Octane fund, right? I think you said that.
Just a couple days ago, yeah.
So like what is your roadmap moving forward? Are you going to are you concentrating more on a metaverse type atmosphere or more on like a Clubhouse type thing or a combination of the two? Are you going to compete against Mark Zuckerberg?
Any opportunity I can get to compete against Mark Zuckerberg, I'll take it. But the general like product philosophy that I have is to try to release things in their most minimal version as possible and get the community's reaction and then build on it. So early on, the roadmap was much more ambiguous than it is now. And as time goes by, it narrows a little bit, but it's still pretty broad right now. There's so many possibilities on where it can go next, but I think it's all going to be determined based on, again, like what I observe in the community for problems that I can solve, feedback from the community around, what's a great experience on ChimeIn versus, what's like, there's a lot of things that that I've heard in the last few months that I've tried to improve on, where it's ChimeIn versus Clubhouse, and they're very similar. And like, how can I make it distinct or a distinctly better experience on the DESO blockchain? So like multiple routes can be, this takes a more pure metaverse direction where the number of buildings or plots of land are sold at a mass scale, and people can actually own a piece of like this virtual land. There's different opportunities or possibilities to build in, avatars and have people identify or express themselves better on ChimeIn. There's different tools that we can build for the creator, like this, the ability to display NFTs, the ability to have moderator controls, the ability to coin wall rooms, to coin wall microphone access, which are features that are available now, by the way. So I'm kind of taking it one step at a time just to see what works well and what's kind of, what doesn't stick as well, or what isn't as distinct. So the roadmap is intentionally open-ended and ambiguous until I can, just find a way to add as much value in the short term. I'm thinking big long term on how do I make this the simplest to use metaverse? How do I make this the metaverse that's more mainstream, that isn't tailored to gamers or people who are familiar with playing, first person video games, and, where we can use some of the mental models that we are used to on a daily basis, like this point and click mechanism, and just making it really simple for anyone to pick up and use right away. So that's kind of the big vision and it's really great that it's on the DESO blockchain, because it allows like all the social component, the social data that you bring into the DESO blockchain makes building something like ChimeIn, it's so good for that type of use case. And at the grand vision, like I said, making this the most accessible metaverse or like virtual space with a spatial interface, that's the grand vision. And how to engage the community, how to solve some problems on the DESO blockchain and the DESO community, and doing that incrementally and just kind of following the signals and seeing what works in the short term. That's kind of the approach, the philosophy so far. Does that make sense?
Have you reached out to Zordon at all? Because I envision a future where, you're on DiamondApp, you're on other nodes, and there's a schedule of scheduled rooms on ChimeIn, and there's also a default room for people that want to learn more about DESO. So if somebody just signs up, instead of taking a tutorial, they can go into the welcome room, the welcome building on ChimeIn, and talk to people about, how do I buy creator coins? Like, what's the best method of doing so? I think if it was implemented into DiamondApp and there's an easy way people just click right from DiamondApp and it launches a certain building where people are chatting, or launches the metaverse where they can select the building, I think that would be awesome. Like right now they have a link to Polygram for NFTs. Maybe they could have a tab at the top to, ChimeIn. And I don't know if they want to call it ChimeIn, or they want to say, chat or something like voice chat or something like that. I think that would be awesome if you could get Zordon to adopt something like that on the site. I know we talked before the show that I think it would be a really cool idea if we could do something with NFTZ, where we could schedule NFT rooms, have a schedule on NFTZ, and you can launch the NFTZ building or an NFT room, any NFT room or building directly from NFTZ that would open up the ChimeIn building.
Well, I think you're getting at something that's really important, which is other human beings are an interface too. Like if you think about what onboarding or what the tutorial is, it's using text and clicks and a flow to explain how something works. But talking to like when you call a call center or customer service for whatever brand or company that you've purchased from, the person on the other phone is an interface. They can do stuff for you, they can take action, they can explain things for you. And I think that ChimeIn has a lot of potential to be a good onboarding tool as well. My question to you is, who would you nominate to be that person? Because somebody has to be there. Or like what group of people do you think would be a good fit for that?
Well, I feel like if it was native to DiamondApp, once we have enough traffic there, I think people would just go there by themselves. Just like when you go in Clubhouse, there's almost always a DESO room open. So I think if it's native to DiamondApp and native to other nodes, I think there will always be at least somebody there who has some knowledge. And
yeah, I mean, personally, I'd just sit in there all day as I'm doing other stuff and wait for people to come in. And I'm sure there'd probably be probably 20 other people that would probably do the same thing because it's helping the community.
Well, and at the same time, somebody's in there welcoming new members. Those new members are probably going to think about buying their coin or giving them diamonds, or so it's going to be beneficial to the people who help as well.
Yeah, there is an incentive to be the face of someone's first impression, because of the economics built into the blockchain. And by the way, as of this week, I've taken time off from, so I run a UX agency, and I've taken a month off of client work at least to focus on ChimeIn full time. So this has been a side project for me for the last 3 or 4 months. And now I'm going to focus on this full time from a development standpoint, from a design standpoint, and then also to try to be that person for a little bit, as much as I can. Like today is the first day ever that I'm able to commit and say, I'm going to be on ChimeIn all day. So if you guys want to join me, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, and awesome. I think you're doing amazing work. If I could recommend to Natter one project to fund with the Octane Fund, it would probably be you, because I know you've been working your butt off. We also applied to the Octane Fund.
You see, I'm blushing. I'm so flattered.
We also applied to the Octane Fund, but I feel like your project is so cool that like invest in him. I think that he's probably one of the hardest working guys I've met. That
means the world. You have no idea. I really appreciate that. What did you guys apply for? Because you have NFTZ. What, like 10? Okay, you have a handful of projects at least that are fundable.
Yeah, like NFTZ is pretty much like the node, the NFT node. The other ones are mostly like little tiny projects that they can't really use the funding. NFTZ could use the funding. If we don't get it, we can still move forward. But definitely would love to get funding. We could expand the team. And I'm sure you have the same idea, like you expand your team, hire some people to help really move things forward faster.
Yeah, and also I can't accept the nomination for hardest working person on the DESO blockchain because you guys have been doing these videos for how many days in a row?
Yeah, but it's not hard work. We just talk. We just talk to each other and talk to guests like you. So it's not really work.
The amount of willpower it takes, I don't want anybody to take this for granted. The amount of willpower and discipline it takes to do this every single day is, I think, should not go unnoticed. The consistency, that is really hard.
Yeah, Brian has days when he just wants to drop out, but I keep encouraging him to keep going, keep fighting.
I mean, listen, I wasn't going to say anything, but I know because I've been watching, I watched 92% of your videos. I know that sometimes one of you guys is on vacation.
Yeah. And actually next weekend, we're both going to be on vacation. So we're still going to try, as long as we have internet, to film.
I'll do your video if you guys want to take it.
You might have to take you up on that.
I mean, look, 2 heads are always better than 1. If I had a clone, who knows what I'd be able to accomplish.
Yeah, that's why I cloned Brian. I mean, it was just a smart thing.
Great idea. Brilliant.
All right. Well, thanks again, Yazin. And we look forward to talking to you and ChimeIn.
Likewise. Thanks, guys.